everything? How do you feel about everybody on the offense grasping the system?
This is way better. I mean, we did it in spring. We reinstalled it early summer. We reinstalled it when we got back working with them, and then this is the fourth time around. So I feel much better about it. The mistakes we're making are 300 level mistakes rather than 100 level mistakes. So I feel way better about it. The questions being asked are really good questions. So I feel good.
When you say reinstall, did you change a few things
No.
to debate based on what the personnel you've got, or?
Not necessarily. Maybe slight tweaks here and there, but reinstall would mean we did install one in the spring, and we did install one at the beginning of the summer, and then at the end of the summer, and then we did install one yesterday. Today was install two. So they know what install one is. They're probably starting to get bored by it a little bit, but that's good to bore them with it, and we want to be really good at the core of our offense.
When you look back at the tape from the spring over the summer, did anything jump out at you?
We had some work to do. There are plays that were made. We're just not consistent enough in the spring. We're learning. We're making silly mistakes, but those mistakes don't show up nearly as much anymore. So.
What did you like most through 2 days?
We got some players back, so it looks a little bit different. Josh Gray's a good player. It's really nice to have him back. All the quarterbacks are healthy now. That's a really nice thing. The running backs, having Jam back and being full go is really good. You had pieces like Darius and some young guys that are really good players. Tanks here from Colorado. There's a lot of pieces that weren't going. We're much deeper in the tight end room now. So that part of it, that's really encouraging.
With Josh making the move to the interior, I know Coach Mahalchik did a really good job cross-training those guys, but has it been pretty seamless for him, even in kind of that regard?
I just know what I see, and I just know that I see a good player. Kyle would have to tell you how he's doing or how he's adjusting to it, but it looks good to me. I'm happy he's out there.
Do you envision him mostly at guard or guard and center? Or?
I'm going to leave that to Kyle's got the best recommendation on that. I'm not trying to avoid the question, but I think he looks pretty natural in there. The body type does a good job there, but it's always nice to have guys that have played multiple positions and know kind of how it feels to be out there in space or inside where you've got a lot more going on.
What is the process of evaluating these quarterbacks over the next 3 weeks going to be like for you? What are the key things to you?
I want guys who are going to make good decisions, and when we make a good call against the right defense, they're going to make the play. So that's decision making, that's avoiding turnovers, avoiding sacks, keeping us moving forward. And then when we are in a bad situation, not making a bad play worse. We don't want critical errors. There's going to be interceptions sometimes where you throw it and it gets tipped and it goes up in the air and it gets picked. We want to avoid the critical errors that are bad decisions, that lead to bad throws, that lead to turnovers. So that's really what it is for me. Guys who can keep us moving forward and really good decision makers.
Do you guys ideally want a clear-cut starter? Is there a world where you kind of rotate guys for packages?
We'll do what's best for the team. Whatever's best for the team, best for the offense. If that's playing two guys, it'll be playing two guys. But whatever Coach Bray, myself, and the offensive staff think is best for our team and to score points and win games is what we'll do. I'm not sure what that'll be right now. It's just too early to tell.
Sticking in the quarterback room, what are the biggest strides you've seen from spring to now in that group?
Well, I mean, the biggest strides are going to be knowledge. It's not going to be, they didn't know a lot, and they were learning, and they were making mistakes, and they're learning from those mistakes. So that's the biggest change. Some guys have changed their bodies. Some guys have gotten stronger, maybe not changed their bodies, but gotten stronger, gotten leaner. There is an increase in knowledge, and from an increase in knowledge, you get a natural increase in confidence. So I think they feel way better about what they're doing right now.
You mentioned Clemens. What having a body like him, speed like, what does he bring to that position, and how do you envision his role unfolding?
He's a big body, and he's one of the stronger guys on the team, and he can really run. We've got to get him up to speed with actually taking the reps. He was here in the spring, but he wasn't out there doing it. So he's a really smart guy. He's very conscientious. He studies. But there's no, it's kind of irreplaceable, the reps that you actually get and going in there, doing it live, making the mistakes and fixing them. But he's definitely a different piece. You know, it's like a spice cabinet. You got to have different stuff. You can't just throw salt and pepper at everything. You can, but yeah, exactly. Cayenne maybe. But he's a different flavor for us, and we will use it.
When you have a defense like you guys appear to have, when you're trying to figure out the risk reward on turnovers and explosive plays, I know you never want to turn it over, but where does that fit with you on what you want to do explosively yet not put the defense in a lot of short fields?
Yeah, you kind of answered the question for me. It's the goal for me is not to have, the top offense in the country. The goal for us is to win. We will play winning football. We'll play complementary football, and whatever that looks like is what we'll do. Our defense is good. The scheme is really good. They do a lot of really good stuff. We've got to protect the football. We've got to create explosive plays. And when the game is that type of game, we've got to stay on the field and move the ball methodically down the field. Whatever that looks like, we're just going to be smart about it and how we call it and how we play it. But we have all the plays, right? We have all the mechanisms to slow down. We have mechanisms to speed up. We have mechanisms to take more shots or mechanisms to be more dink and dunk around the field. And we just want to win, and that's it. I'm not just a stat sheet guy, or the top of the stat sheet where it has the score, and that'll be what's most important.
The way you touched on yesterday, going back to Clemens with his leadership, and even when he wasn't getting the reps, him being a leader in the game, how have you seen that from him, and how impressive is it for a guy that just got here to take on a role like that?
I'm not in the room, so I can't necessarily tell you that. I'm in the offensive room, and I know he sits up front and he pays attention. But there's a maturity to the way that he operates, and I think you guys can probably tell that, the way he goes to meetings and the way he fuels his body and the way he takes care of himself and the way that he practices.
What was recruiting him in the portal like? Like, what were that process like, and how did he end up here?
I mean, as you guys could probably guess, there's a little bit of recruiting now that is having to recruit the hell out of this guy, and at worst, I know that when it comes back around, he's going to be interested in us because we had a great relationship. So that's Fence, and Fence and him had a fantastic relationship. You want to play for Fence. Can't blame him. Fence is a really good coach. He's super detailed. He demands a lot of those guys, but he's done a really good job, and I think that was the relationship. It was with me. It was, hey, dude, I'm gonna throw you the ball. Just come here. But that was a relationship with him and Fence.
I thought you were going to take all the credit.
No, I would love to. Maybe behind closed doors.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.